Hi, I'm Kate from the Biome project, and I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about rhinos, including their population numbers, the challenges they are facing, and what is being done to help save the rhino from extinction. So let's get started. There are 5 species of rhino in total, 2 in Africa and 3 in Asia. Let's look at the African species first. The 2 African species are the white rhino and the black rhino. Funnily enough, these 2 species are exactly the same colour. They're both grey. The reason they've got their names is because the white rhino is a grazer and has a wide mouth, and the Afrikaans word for wide is white. Therefore, in English, they were called the white rhino, and to differentiate the black rhino, a browser with a hook-shaped lip was called the black rhino. There are 2 subspecies of white rhino, the southern white rhino and the northern white rhino. However, devastatingly, the northern white rhino is functionally extinct, as there are only 2 females remaining, meaning there is no possibility for future breeding. The southern white rhino is the biggest of the 5 species and the most abundant. Estimates of how many southern white rhinos are remaining vary between 10,000 and 18,000, and their numbers are sadly decreasing. It is likely there were less than 200 white rhinos left in South Africa in the 1960s. However, thanks to the concerted and dedicated efforts of a small team of conservationists called Operation Rhino in KwaZulu-Natal, these animals were brought back from the brink of extinction. However, today the southern white rhino and the black rhino are both experiencing population declines. Black rhinos have been classed as critically endangered by the IUCN, and there is an estimated 5,000 individuals left in the wild. The primary threat to both African species is poaching. Rhinos are poached for their horns to supply a predominantly Asian market where rhino horn is used in traditional medicine. Despite a lack of scientific evidence that rhino horn can be used to treat a range of illnesses, from headaches to cancer, the demand for rhino horn remains steady. Conservation efforts include 24/7 anti-poaching patrols for both the rhinos themselves and the habitats they live in, as well as translocation efforts. This is an expensive and never-ending task, carried out by brave and resilient rangers. Now, let's head over to Asia. First, we have the greater one-horned rhino, or the Indian rhino. This is the most abundant of the Asian species, with roughly 2,100 to 2,200 individuals left, and encouragingly, their numbers are increasing. The Indian rhino is found in Nepal and India. The Indian rhino declined to near extinction in the early 1900s, primarily due to habitat alteration. Past poaching led to declines in several important populations, but in the last 5 years, poaching has decreased, and on the whole, the population is increasing. However, poaching is not the only threat to the species. There have been serious declines in habitat quality in some areas, largely due to invasive plant species, reduction in the extent of habitat, and grazing by domestic livestock. Moving to Indonesia, we have our second species of Asian rhino, the Javan rhino. This species used to live throughout northeast India and Southeast Asia, but is now the most threatened of the 5 species of rhino. The IUCN estimates that there's only a mere 18 individuals left in the wild, and as such, they are classified as critically endangered. However, the population is thought to be stable, and some estimates suggest that there are up to 60 individuals left in the wild. Since the entire species is found in one national park, it is unlikely we will see a boom in numbers anytime soon, without translocation efforts. And translocations are incredibly risky, especially with such a vulnerable population. The long-term cause of population decline is largely due to poaching. However, there has been no poaching recorded of these rhinos since the 1970s. Given the vulnerability of this population, these rhinos are extensively protected. Available Javan rhino habitat is limited by 2 major factors: the threat of human encroachment and the predominance of a palm species called Arenga obtusifolia, which inhibits the growth of rhino food plants. However, Javan rhino conservation efforts meant by December 2018, 150 hectares of Arenga had been removed. Other threats to the Javan rhino include competition for food with the Javan banteng, potential for disease, and catastrophic events. The last remaining species of rhino to discuss keeps us in Indonesia. It's the Sumatran rhino. The IUCN estimates there to be around 30 individuals left, and as such, they are also classed as critically endangered. The Sumatran rhino population is also decreasing. The remaining Sumatran rhinos live in small, fragmented populations with very limited possibilities to breed. Only 2 captive females have managed to reproduce in the last 15 years. So, while they have more numbers than the Javan rhino, they are arguably more threatened. The Sumatran rhino is the most closely related remaining species to the woolly rhino, and Sumatran rhinos are covered in hair. Woolly rhinos roamed the earth from about 3 million to about 11,700 years ago. The 3 main threats to rhinos across Sumatra are small population effects, human disturbance, and poaching. The threat from poaching is more severe in Africa. Poaching is always a concern for any species of rhino, including the Sumatran rhino. But poaching in Indonesia is opportunistic, and organised criminal networks are not in operation at the scale they are in Africa. All 5 species of rhinos have unique characteristics which make them worth protecting. Rhinos have been on this earth for 50 million years, and to watch their decline at the hands of humans is both heartbreaking and cruel. If you want to learn more about these rhinos and what you can do to protect them, check out the Save the Rhino International website and the WWF website. Both NGOs have great information about rhinos and conservation work going on worldwide to help protect them. You can also follow at Let Rhinos Roam Free on Instagram for more fact files and interesting updates on all things rhino, as well as keeping an eye out on all future Biome content to see where rhinos make an appearance.